Monday to Friday, where we discuss all the issues happening on the other side of the continent. Let's first go into the weather is quite a little bit raining today. So if you're going out, make sure you go out with that umbrella. Very, very important so that you do not get stuck in the weather. The British weather could be very, very sometime a little bit nippy. The weather is also what we can say very, very not too cold, but I can tell you that if you're one of those that love that weather, someone like me, I love the weather, but sometimes it could just be too much, and that is the reason why you have to prepare, for the eventuality. So many of you that will be heading out this morning, make sure you have those umbrella with you. Very, very important that you do, so that you do not get. I'm going to be telling you what is happening on the on all the real network. I'll be telling you all the status of what we have so far on the Star Radio UK. But one thing, like I always say, you can be part of this program. From Monday to Friday, where myself, Archie, Frank, and our producer will bring you all the latest of what is happening, within UK, and likewise within the context of what is happening as well on the other side of the globe. Again, many of you wants to know what is going on in Nigeria. I'll be telling you that. Let's keep again to the weather. What is the weather saying this morning, and what can I share with you? From what we have so far, the weather is raining in London, where we are also transmitting from, England precisely as well. So if I take you down to Reading, it's going to be raining in Reading. Maidstone is going to be raining. We expect rain throughout, the day. So like I said, it's just about 12 degree as well this morning. So make sure that when you're heading out this morning, the rain has literally stopped just about 8 minutes ago, but it's been a little bit raining. So Oxford, Luton, Dover, Calais, and the rest of the surroundings, Southampton, there's going to be a lot. It might become a little bit drier later on, so make sure you also follow that as well. It might get a little bit dry, but for now, what I can tell you is that the weather is still a little bit nippy out there. So make sure we expect it to be heavy, probably maybe later in the evening. So that means that by the time I'll be heading to the studio for the Niger Voices, that literally means that I might have to also prepare for the eventuality. That is about it with the weather this morning. Like I said, tomorrow will be another weather, but for now, we're expecting, if you're driving, also please take extra precaution. The wind is about 87 degree humid, and likewise the visibility. I love driving, but the question is that when you drive in London, sometimes it could be a little bit when it comes to the wind. So if you're driving, take that extra precaution, especially if you have to apply, the brakes, so that you do not have, we don't want any kind of accident on the road out there. So if you're driving, leave extra time. It is very, very important that you leave extra time as well. And that is about it with the weather. Now let's come back straight to what is happening on the London Underground this morning. It seems that the DLR is part suspended this morning. The Elizabeth line has some minor delays. I remember when the Elizabeth line was eventually opened, it was a very beautiful line. I've traveled through it. The Elizabeth line is high frequency hybrid urban suburban rail service in London and its suburb. And for those of you that have not been to London, whenever you come to London, you might also remember to listen to the Star Radio UK network, but also remember that you can also travel on that Elizabeth line. A very, very beautiful line. It's just been opened just before, the death of the Queen Elizabeth. We had the state opening yesterday. I might touch on that a little bit, later on, this morning. But again, you also can follow us on the X space, on Twitter. Remember to share the program for your loved ones when we're live Monday to Friday on the morning show. So that is about it with the Elizabeth line. I could tell you that the other services are good according to the TFL this morning. The Bekelu line is good. Central line is good. I love the central line because it takes you through the central of London, and I'm sure you understand the feel. When you get on the central line, you can come out of Mabulat, you can come out of the Oxford Circus train station, and the moment you come out of that, you could see the beauty, the very beauty of the landmark of London as well. So for the benefit of those of you that have not been to London before, or those of you that are living outside London, thank you so much to all our producer and also all the presenter on the Star Radio UK network. Like I said, I'll be sitting for Archie till 12, and I'll also going to be telling you more about the news headline from Nigeria later on. But for now, we're still giving you some of what is happening on the rail network. The district line is good services. Hammersmith is good services. The Jubilee line, the Metropolitan line. The Northern line seems to be a line that I love, but, for whatever reason, I think, it needs some upgrade. The Piccadilly line, for those of you that are traveling this morning, the Piccadilly line is on a good service. So make sure, you leave ample of time, because the Piccadilly line travels all the way to London Heathrow, Terminal 5 and 3 and 2. For those of you that love to travel, and probably maybe you're traveling, you might want to tell us where you're going on for those of you that are watching us on our Twitter and also on our YouTube channel. Maybe if you're traveling this Christmas, can you tell me where you're traveling to? I haven't got any planned traveling at all, but for the benefit of those of you that wants to travel, you might also want to share that with us so that we can know where you're heading to, for the Christmas. Christmas is getting closer. Christmas is getting closer, and we look forward to Christmas. Do you look forward to Christmas? Are you one of those that celebrate Christmas, or are you one of those that say, I don't celebrate Christmas? You might want to also, share that with us as well. Remember that we are also, streaming on the Facebook. We are live as well on the X page, which is probably known as Twitter. And then we are also live on the Star Radio UK app. Let's go straight now to tell you more about what is happening in some other African countries in terms of the news coming out of Africa this morning. Africa is so blessed. We take you from Ghana, to Kenya, to South Africa. I think Kenya have decided that maybe we should allow other African, to travel down and see, the feel of what Kenya looks like. So I think if I'm right, you might have to travel free. Visa free rather, not free. You have to pay for your ticket. If you're somewhere in Africa, you can travel now to some of those places as well. So I'm going to be giving you some of those headlines, and then later on, we'll be telling you more about what is happening in Nigeria. There's a lot happening, across the globe this morning. But one thing is, be rest assured that the Star Radio UK is right on here to tell you whatever is happening. Again, there's a good service on the Victoria line. There's a good service on the Waterloo and also the London Underground. I love the London Underground. The reason for that is it's one of those lines that you can also travel on, and you can still get services, for those of us that want to keep in touch with what is happening outside the world. If you're traveling on the London Underground, you're likely to continue to get a very good, network as well. So that is about it on the services on the tube this morning. And then I'm going to be telling you a little bit more about what is happening on the road network. The road network is one area that for those of us that drive, you want to be sure that you're not traveling and you get stuck. So when you're listening to us on the Star Radio UK, the morning show, be rest assured that I'll be telling you. I'll be also telling you what is happening on the river bus as well. But most importantly, there is a serious delay on the A13 this morning. A13, there's a serious delay, so make sure you leave ample of time for the benefit of those of you that will be traveling towards that as well. From the commercial road on the E1, E14, Tower Hamlet, there's been, ongoing project there. And I can confirm to you that the commercial road, both direction at junction of A126 on the Butcher Row carriageway restriction and the use of temporary traffic signal in operation at the Rodai Tunnel. I love the Rhode Island Tunnel and the Blackwall Tunnel, but the question is, the traffic that travels through that route means that sometimes, some of us that wants to drive through the Rhode Island Tunnel because you want to cut short, it gives you a bit of a shortcut, but sometimes it could be heavy traffic. On Tuesday, I was somewhere in Woolwich. Shout out to those of you in Woolwich. Shout out to those of you in Peckham. The ambience of when you go to those communities that you feel at home, and you feel the impact of living within the Black community in UK. So if you're one of those that are not working within the community, also make sure you participate your own when it comes to community services. Give those time, engage, especially our youth, our children as well. I'm still talking about what is happening on the road network this morning. I'll take you straight to the A4. The A4, there's a serious delay on the A4 as well this morning. Once again, this is still the Star Radio UK network. And as we continue to give you some of those news, traffic, and later on at about 11:30, I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know what is happening in Nigeria. But at almost 1800 hours tonight, it is all about the Niger Voices. So, but for now, the A4 has a serious delay. What is happening there? Let's take a look at what is happening on the A4 this morning. The A4, the Great West Road, both direction between A3002 Boston Manor Road and the B445 Ealing Road. Those areas seems to be very, very busy. And the reason for that, again, is not just because of the overhead road work that is going on. In addition, with the Windmill Road, the north and the southbound crossover is also closed. So make sure if you're traveling on the road, you're heading to the airport this morning and you're going to be traveling through that direction, please leave ample of time because the airline doesn't wait for nobody. As they say, the airline is not going to wait for you. So make sure you leave ample of time. Let's come to the A406. I love the A406 because, from the A406, you can travel out of London and you could connect onto the M1. I remember some few years back, when I first started driving, I was making my way back home from Auburn, and then I end up getting onto the A406, but for whatever reason, as at the time, we don't have the kind of the Google map and what we have right now, the Waves and other. What you'd normally have then is a map. You have this map, you study the map, you look at the direction where you're going to be coming up. But for whatever reason, I end up turning onto the M1, and by the time my younger sister woke up, we were like far away from the next exit point. So if you're driving, make sure you study the road network very well. So I can tell you that on the A406 Telford Road westbound at the junction of Hastings Road lane, 2 of those have been closed to facility emergency according to the Thames Water this morning. So if you're traveling on the A406, leave ample of time as well. On the A1, there's no exceptional delay. The A10, seems to be no problem on the A10. The A12, there's no problem. The A2, the A20, the A21, the A23, A24, A3, A316, and the A40. My cousin seems to travel a lot of time on the A40 on his way back home. A41, there's no problem. And there's also no exceptional delay on the Blackwall Tunnel. Central London seems to be very quiet. There's no protest going on right there. But make sure over the weekend you follow us so that you can find out if there's any protest. There's been continuous protests every weekend on the Central London because of what is happening in the Middle East. So make sure that you follow us on the Star Radio UK so that you'll be aware of what is happening when it comes to the current situation on that part as well. We don't want you to travel to the Central London and you find out that there's a protest. So remember to follow us also on the Star Radio UK. Very, very important. You can follow us on www.starradiouk.com. Very, very important. Follow us on those platforms and you will be able to find out as many of what we do on there as well. I'm going to come back again, to the road network because we want to keep our listeners moving. And if you're driving, you could turn it up a little bit, but make sure you're not disturbing the other drivers as well. But for now, make sure you apply the brakes on time. It is still windy out there. It's been raining all day, and when one thing is when you drive, and you're driving inside the these type of weather, especially we expect many of you to have service and upgrade your car, because the weather changed from winter to summer, from summer to winter. So it is important that you take those cars to the mechanic and make sure that you have everything working. How do you feel when you drive, in the winter and your heater is not working? Imagine getting into the vehicle, you switch on the engine, and then you turn on the heater, and you realize that for whatever reason, you should have serviced that before traveling. So again, that would mean that your windscreen will be, you would have to open the window, because the heating system will not be able to do the job since it is not working. So we expect many of our listeners to make sure that your vehicle are roadworthy, just as we do expect that to happen as well in most African countries. I'm going to be telling you what is happening in Africa in just about 2 minutes. We're still telling you the road network, but once again, I'm sitting again for Archie this morning, as Archie is doing very well. He's just working behind the scene, and also Frank as well. And likewise, our producer, that is also Mr. Guyana, that is also working, and likewise all the other presenter. I'll be back again at 1800 hours, but for now, we're going to be here till 12 noon as I continue to give you all the latest updates coming out of Nigeria at exactly 11:30. Let's go and see what is happening in Africa this morning. There's a lot of news coming out of Africa. What do you want me to tell you? I can say that thousands of people have fled under a fresh ethnic killings in Sudan, Darfur. Sudan has been in the public domain for a very long time. I'm sure those of you that have been following Sudan would understand that. But this morning again, is a very sad situation. I can confirm that there is so much ethnic cleansing going on. There has been a significant increase in the number of people that are fleeing a fresh violence in Sudanese region of Darfur, according to the medical charity says. Witnesses have accused the paramilitary rapid support forces and the allied militias of carrying out ethnic killings against non-Arabs in the West Darfur. The RSF did not immediately comment on the claims, but he had earlier said it was not involved in what is described as a tribal conflict. So we hope that situation will be under control in Darfur. Let me take you to what is happening in the Red Sea in Ethiopia. The Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed eyes the Red Sea. This is quite interesting, because yesterday I was actually reading a book to my son, and the book says Ocean Sea, Red Sea. Is it always red? But it seems that Ethiopia, there's a inflaming tension as we speak right now. Ethiopia is abuzz with rumors of a new war, which will be Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed fourth in 5 years. There's so much war going on in Africa. That literally means that Africa will continue to be unstable. And that means that the influence of those that are creating this proxy war could be a big problem. You're still listening to the Star Radio UK network this morning as I sit for Archie. And likewise, like I said, at 11:30, we go straight to what is happening in Nigeria. But for now, I'm telling you what is going on across Africa. As well as importing weapons and mobilizing his army, Mr. Abiy, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, who was awarded the Nobel Prize in 2019 for his rapprochement with Eritrea, has been saying that access to the sea is an essential question. This is what we say to some of our listeners as well in Nigeria, especially the Yorubas, to say, look, the moment you lose your waterways, that will be the end of it. Ethiopia, most obvious target is the Eritrean Red Sea port of Assab, which was part of Ethiopia until Eritrean independence more than 30 years ago. Since 1998, that's about almost 25 years ago, Ethiopian and Eritrean war and the closure of the border between the two countries, the Assab dogs have been rustling away while Ethiopia trade has been channeled through neighboring Djibouti. Let's take you to what is happening in South Africa. It seems that there's a news coming out of South Africa this morning as well. But most importantly, like I said, there's a lot going on. Ghana. Now, let me touch on Ghana first. Ghana renal unit reopened after 5-month closure. A major renal unit in Ghana, publicity funded by Kolo Bull Teaching Hospital in the capital, Accra, has been reopened after a 5-month closure. Imagine after close where patients that are suffering from kidney, I'm not too sure why it was shut down, but the country's largest treatment center for patients suffering kidney disease was shut because of budgetary. Africa again, budgetary issues. It was unable to pay for every need of those needing the services. I do donate blood in UK every 12 weeks, and those bloods are given to those that are in need of it, and we expect our community in UK to do the same thing as well. This week, the hospital management announced that it was in collaboration with the Ministry of Health to resolve the debt resulting from the cost under recovery. In just 8 minutes, I'll be telling you everything you need to know in Nigeria. But for now, we're touching on what is going on in Africa. Because of the time permit, let's go straight to what is going on as well in other part of Africa this morning. Salah set Gaza social media example for sport. Egypt and Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah is praised for the tone of his statement on the ongoing conflict in Middle East. We hope that there will be peace in the Middle East, and we hope that things will be resolved as quickly as possible. Scores of Zambia opposition MPs suspended amid a row. 17 Zambia opposition member of parliament have been suspended from the parliament for 30 days following a disruption of the House session last week. Africa. UK and the United States, again, just as they issue security alert in Nigeria, they are also issuing a fresh security alert on Uganda. According to the British High Commissioner in Uganda, has warned of a growing terror threat in Uganda, including targeting of foreigners, hours after the United States Embassy issued a similar alert. If you remember that last week, the United States issued a security alert to all the major hotels in Nigeria, the major hotels in the city, as they're warning their citizens to stay away from this hotel. The Nigerian government responded back quickly yesterday, saying that that is going to have big impact on the investment in Nigeria. Both the diplomatic mission on Tuesday warned their citizens against attending large gatherings, including worship activities. We've told you about what is happening in Ethiopia. Again, the Ethiopian forces are accused of drone strikes in Amara. Drone is one of the latest technology being used to fight war. We saw that in Ukraine and Russia, and we are seeing that currently in the Middle East as well. Nigeria reportedly canceled a visit by the Czech Republic Prime Minister. Wow, Nigeria has canceled a planned visit by the Czech Republic Prime Minister Petr Fiala, severe Czech media outlet says. Why is that? Nigeria has informed us that it's unable to provide an adequate reception and program. So we have agreed to cancel the visit of the Czech Republic government spokesperson Vaka Smokla, told the Czech daily paper. Nigeria is yet to comment. They will never comment on that. Criminals have declared war on South Africa ministers. Oh God, what's going on in South Africa? 25 minutes past 11. It is still the 8th day of the month of 11, 2023. As I sit for Archie, and likewise, we'll be telling you everything that needs to be known when it comes to the news headline from Nigeria. South Africa Police Minister Becky Cele says criminals have declared war on citizens following a surge in the crime levels in the country. This is after the country's transport minister was robbed at a gunpoint in daring attack on Monday. Sidwis Chikugan was traveling on KwaZulu Natal to Kwantang when the incident happened. We nearly lost a minister that would have been shot and killed. We hope that security will be protected. Somalia, there's a flood fatality that have now risen to 29 people. The death toll from the ongoing flash flood in Somalia has risen to 29. I remember the flood that took place, in Libya, killed so many people. We continue to hope that, nature will hold back and let us save as many lives as well. The flooding has left many people injured and affected, estimated 850,000 according to the agency. Similar things happen as well in Nigeria as well. Wise word for those of you is, once propensity to watch flight will lead him to start fighting. Again, the proverb for the day this morning, once propensity to watch fight will lead him to start fighting. A Bambi proverb sent by Chinsimba Milongo in Zambia. That is about it. couple died after hotel fumigate inquest. Oh my Lord, what is going on? Well, let's now start this from Nigeria. Some of the latest news coming out of Nigeria, it seems that the Irish chef have now unseated our own chef. I'm sure some of you remember when there was an ongoing cooking record by Hilda Baci. Bear with me. Hilda Baci, excuse me, that has graciously handed over a title, wishing Alan Fishy huge congratulations. They didn't even allow her to enjoy it for 1 year. What is your take on that? Do you think it was fair on Hilda Baci that the award she got for the longest cooking in the world has now been taken away from her after Alan Fishy, who is based in Japan, cooked for 119 hours, 57 minutes at his Irish-themed restaurant in Matusu, according to the Guinness World Record said. Mr. Fishy's new record means that Nigerian chef Hilda Baci has been dethroned as the world record holder. She won the title earlier this year, causing a sensation in Nigeria. A closely followed world record attempt kick off a craze in a country with people trying to get themselves in the record books by doing things like crying. I remember somebody was going to cry for a long time, people singing nonstop. But I can now confirm to Nigerians and those of you outside Nigeria, the diaspora, that Hilda Baci, that stood earlier at 93 hours, 11 minutes, have now lost the record to an Irish Alan Fisher that now has the Guinness World Record. Maybe somebody in Nigeria should say, we no go agree, we no go agree. And then what you need to do, you need to start again. So that is about that. Now let's go straight to some of the other news that is happening in Nigeria this morning. My name is Olamide Ike. I'm also sitting here for Archie this morning. There's a lot going on in Nigeria, but one thing is, be rest assured that the Star Radio UK team are going to be giving you all those headlines as well. So many WhatsApp groups. What do you discuss in your WhatsApp group? Maybe you might want to share some of that with us this morning. Good morning to you, Mr. Semiu Adeyemi, that is listening to us, and those of you that have connected on the sister broadcast as well. Let me go straight to what is happening in some of the news headline that I have this morning. Once again, I'm sitting for Archie this morning, and likewise, Archie is doing very well. Archie will be back with us again tomorrow, God's willing. But for now, let's start with opposition party resident condemn the not absentee governors. What is going on there? Let's take a look at that. According to the report coming out this morning, there is a sustained and worsened public outcry from several residents and stakeholders in the north over the absence of their elected governors, who rather than sit in their various states, prefer to govern people from Abuja. That is Yaya Bello. Yaya Bello does not live in Kogi State, but is governing from Abuja. According to the Gombe State Eltsman Mohammed Inwu Yaya, who doubles as the chairman of the Northern Governors Forum, and his Kwara counterpart and chairman Nigerian Governors Forum Abdurrahim Abdurrazak. I'm not sure whether Kwara has now become part of North. Have been fingered as the worst culprit in this category of absentee governors. Apart from the two, other governors also identify as being always absent from their domain are Kogi State Governor, Sokoto State Governor, and Zamfara State Governor. So these governors are running their state from Abuja. This development was told by Arewa to the investigation that revealed has attracted ill and the cry of the citizens and residents who say it is, were they told to be governing from Abuja, just like Akeredolu is also doing the same thing from Ibadan. According to the governorship candidate of the African Democratic Congress during the 2023 poll in Gombe State, Nafiu Bala, they continue absent. Well, nobody's going to vote for, AAC or the other political party because they'll prefer to vote for PDP and APC, but those political parties will rather run the state from Abuja. According to the African Democratic Congress, governorship candidate in Gombe State, says that the continued absence of the state governors is in no doubt impacting negatively on good governance, definitely. If you are running your state from Abuja, how do you expect to get deliverance of the governance in the state? Bala also fought a situation where the governors spend most of their time in Abuja, Dubai, and sometimes in Turkey and other parts of the world from where it governs the citizens of the state who elect him to the office. The question is, what is your take on that? Maybe we might talk about that, during the Niger Voices as well. Let's come back again. Nigeria, most dangerous place to be a Christian. I am not surprised. I am just not surprised. All you need to do is go to Southern Kaduna and see how many people have been killed. Go to Jos, go to Plateau, come down to the southwest, where in Ondo State, Owo, many people were massacred. A non-partisan Christian organization, International Christian Concern, has included Nigeria among the most dangerous places for Christians in the world. The organization noted that the extremists and militants and terrorists have been killing Christians in the country and disposing them of their lands in the last 20 years. This was contained in the organization 2023 report on Christian persecutors in the world. The organization stated that Nigerians leaders have tied the attacks around farmer and elder clashes laced with ethnic conflict. What a very sad, report there as well. However, the ICC report described the killings and other atrocity as genocide against Christians. It partly read, Nigeria is arguably the most dangerous place to be a Christian in the world today. In the north, very hostile group of Muslim extremists have attacked and devastated the minority population of Christians in the Middle Belt. Armed Islamic terrorists known as Fulani militants have been killing Christians, stealing their land at a prodigious rate for the last 20 years. I wonder what the Yoruba will be saying now. We are concerned, and that is why some of us are saying maybe it is time now for the dissolution of Nigeria and let everybody save their own citizens. Between mass murder and land stealing, millions of Christians have been displaced since May 2011. Boko Haram alone has been responsible for the death of almost 100,000 Nigerians. Leaders tell the West that this is a complicated problem between herders and farmers. I do not believe that is all lies. With tribal overlay, but the truth is that we are witnessing a genocide of Christians in the north and Middle Belt accompanied by immense land grab. The ICC report also said no fewer than almost 1,000 Christians were killed in 55 attacks between March and July this year. Almost 1,000 Christians have been killed in Nigeria between March 2023 and July 2023. Whether the world acknowledges the plight of Christians or not, the country has become a burial ground for Christians, according to the report. The report noted that Sharia law is practiced in 12 northern states, as also endanger non-Muslims in those states. It says that Sharia law as applied today in Nigeria violate the principles of secularism and endangers non-Muslim religious communities in the North and the Middle Belt region. Despite repeatedly claiming to be a secular nation, 12 northern states in Nigeria have decided to adopt what we call Islamic Sharia criminal law, meaning that Christians do not participate as equal members of society. Given its inherently religious nature, Sharia is a problematic when applied, particularly when they are charged under a criminal Sharia law. The organization called on the United States of America to add Nigeria back to the list of countries with severe violations of religious freedom. I'm not sure why America removed Nigeria from that list. He also went further to state, Nigerian domestic security policy addresses the needs of the particular vulnerable religious communities by responding to threats quickly and ensuring the perpetrators are brought to justice. The reason why I've decided to read all this through is so that we can continue to highlight the genocide being committed in Nigeria to Christians and non-Christians and Muslims as well. That Nigeria be added back to countries of particular concern list designation it held in 2020 before being removed in 2021. the United States foreign aid in Nigeria be conditioned on substantial improvement around religious freedom, including the repeal of blasphemy. Remember that we lost a young Nigerian, Deborah. Deborah was killed in Nigeria during a WhatsApp group conversation. She was lynched to death, and also till date, nobody has been penalized for that. It seems that Niger State governor is saying that we will shut down Nigeria, just as the Northern Consensus Forum told us that they will stop bringing food to the Southwest. The question is, are we now being threatened by the North as we go into the next headline? 11:37, like I said, this program comes to an end at 12 noon, as we will be coming back later on at 1800 hours for the Niger Voices. The Niger State governor demands 13% derivation from oil revenue. Is it their right to say that we can no longer be giving you the Candy Dam, we will shut it down, and other national power infrastructure? We demand compensation for our people. Every resources that come from Niger State must be compensated. This is coming from Governor Umaru Bago, as now threatening to shut down the Kanji Dam and the other power infrastructure supply to the Delta region if the federal government does not extend the payment of 13% derivation fund enjoyed by the oil-producing state to Niger State. Do you think that it is fair that Niger State be given 13% derivation, or should we say that maybe they should shut down the Kanji Dam and maybe it is time for the dissolution, or is the federal government going to negotiate? Good morning to you, Grandma Leah Ajayi, and welcome for those of you that are watching us directly on the Star Radio UK YouTube channel this morning. Let's go back again to that particular story. We will take the federal government to the Supreme Court unless 13% derivation from our land, water, air, and grass and everything given to us is paid. We need 13% derivation for water supplied to Delta. Our people are ravaged and displaced year in, year out because of the flow of water from Niger to Delta State. The Niger governor yesterday, on Monday rather, while receiving the Federal Commission of National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and the Internal Displaced Persons, Tijani Tiamiu. What do you think about that? There's just so much. Over 115,000 children are malnourished in Zamfara State is one of the headlines as well. According to the severe acute malnutrition, 115,146 children are with severe acute malnutrition have been identified in Zamfara State. The 2023 Nutrition Standard Monitoring and Assessment of Relief and Transition Survey has revealed. According to Abraham Mahama, the nutrition specialist in the Sokoto Field Office of the United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, disclosed this in Sokoto yesterday. Mr. Mahama was making a presentation on the findings of the survey conducted in June for the Sokoto, Katsina, and Zamfara. We hope something will be done to save as many as well. No vote count in polling units where violence is recorded. This is coming from INEC. Kogi State, Imo State will be going into another election, governorship election as well in Bayelsa State this Saturday. The Independent National Electoral Commission says it will not count votes in any polling unit where violence is recorded during Saturday's governorship election in Bayelsa State. This is coming from the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, says in Yenagua during a stakeholders meeting. Mr. Yakubu was represented by the INEC commissioner supervising Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, and River, Mrs. May Agbamuchu Mubu, says the commission will deploy beavers to all polling units for the election. That is coming again from the headline this morning. Let's take you more say to what is happening, in just about a few minutes. Bear with us there. Bear with us there. That was just a very urgent delivery coming through. Once again, this is still the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. As we continue some of the news headline in 15 minutes, we'll be bringing the program to an end. Late singer Mohbad died inside the car. He didn't die. He didn't make it to the hospital. The wife tells Lagos Corona. Mohbad issue is still ongoing on. Nigerian Anti-Graft Agency EFCC arraigned 11 students of the Obafemi Awolowo University in Osun State for internet fraud. German says 14,000 Nigerians might be facing deportation for lacking identification cards. That is a serious one there. Alleged 4.8 billion fraud court order arrest of a businessman, Sileto Ibeto, over refusal to appear for trial. Stranded Nigerians envoy cry out as foreign minister to direct junior workers to deny them official cars, lock them out of the residence. Interesting. President Bola Tinubu appointed and indicted by EFCC for diverting 3 billion from Lagos account. I think we said all these a few weeks back. Let's go back again to what is happening more on the news, and then we go straight on the social media at 15 to 12 noon. LASU removes student affair dean over certificate racketeering allegation. Not again. And we said earlier, Mohbad widow testified before the Corona recall singer last moment. It seems that Mohbad never got to the hospital before he died. Car dealers get fake alert. Customer abscond during test drive. Wow. How did that happen? Once again, 5 people have been jailed for circulating ex-speaker nude video, obtaining 38 million naira. Really? What happened there? Justice Nathaniel Ayo Emmanuel of the Federal High Court in Oshogbo in Osun State yesterday sentenced 5 men tried for cyber stalking and defrauding the ex-speaker of Osun State House of Assembly, Timothy Oweye, of the sum of 38 million naira. Sometime in 2018, a 13-second nude video of Oweye had gone viral on the internet. How? Who recorded it? Was it recorded by someone? Was he recording himself? Was he sending it to somebody and eventually got it to somebody else? In the video, Oweye was accosted by some people who accused him of coming into their community to... Oh, I remember that video. I'm sure many Nigerians will remember that video where a man was, in a community performing ritual. The Osun State Police Command arrested those in the video who were alleged to have used the clip to obtain around 38 million naira from Oweye before the clip was reportedly released. So the money was paid and the video was still then, allowed to be released on the internet. These individuals now have been sentenced to jail. Let's go back again to what is happening in the business news this morning, as many Nigerians are struggling when it comes to the economy. Naira devaluation boosts government revenue by 713 billion. The NPA plans $1 billion port rehabilitation. Is that going to be for the benefit of Nigerians or just the foreign expatriate? Federal government saves 1.45 trillion from subsidy removal. Many Nigerians would then be asking, if you have removed the subsidy, where is the money being channeled into? The federal government has so far saved 1.45 trillion naira from earnings generated from the removal of subsidy on the premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, between June and September. This is according to the fake allocation document that was obtained from the website of the Nigerian Governors Forum and the National Bureau of Statistics. According to the analysts, show that the fund remitted monthly to the non-oil revenue, saying account of the government received the sum of 696.93 billion in June and 389.7 billion in July, 71 billion in August, and 289 billion in September. President Bola Tinubu announced the removal of the petrol subsidy during his inaugural address, May 29 this year, saying subsidy is gone and is gone. Before the removal of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited says it spent 1.8 trillion on subsidy payment between January 2023 to May 2023, 55% higher than the amount paid during the period last year. So who is actually making money out of the subsidy before it was removed? Bauchi State hands over airport to federal government. Why? Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa International Airport in Bauchi State has now been handed over to the federal government for effective management and economic development of the state. It was handed over to the federal government through the Airport Authority of Nigeria. So it seems that Bauchi State can no longer look after the Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa International Airport. The airport was built in 2013 by Isa Yagudu, the administration, and had been managed by Bauchi State government. So why can't they manage it? Speaking at the official handover yesterday at the VIP, the managing director of FAN, Kabi Mohammed, told journalists that the government has agreed to hand over the facility to the federal government. Before now, the airport has been jointly operated by the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, FAN, and the Bauchi government. In the most recent discussion looking at how to optimally use the airport, Bauchi government graciously accept to cede the operation of the airport to FAN, not because they cannot operate it, but they believe that handing it to the federal government will open the state to more opportunities. Mohammed said Bauchi and other states in the Northeast will benefit more from the new arrangement. Let's hope that is the case. Do you think that it is worth it? It takes us to Ebonyi, as Ebonyi to repair. While one is handing over the airport to the federal government, it seems that Ebonyi have decided to repair airport runway. It's going to cost 13.7 billion. According to the Commissioner for Aviation and Technology in Ebonyi State, Mrs. Ngozi Obichukwu, has said that the state government will spend 13.7 billion naira to fix the worn-out runway of the Chuba Okadigbo International Airport, Ona Eke. Obechukwu, who stated this in Abakaliki on Tuesday, named Infrastructure Development Company as the contractor handling the project. We hope that the project will be standard, and we hope that the project will be in time, and we hope that the project would not be inflated. She said that the project will be completed within 8 months. Let's hope so. According to the commissioner, the runway, when completed, will boost economic viability and development of the state by greater percentage. Almost every state needs an airport, but it seems that Ekiti State has abandoned that airport that was commissioned some few years back. Money has been paid, and yet nothing seems to be working. NNPCL unveils new crude grade ships, 1.9 million. According to the report, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited yesterday says it had launched a new crude oil grade Nimbe at its ship its first cargo in October, consisting of 950,000 barrels. According to the router, quoting that the executive director of the crude and condensate at the NNPC Trading, Mayu Idris, on the sideline of the Argus European Crude Conference in London, said that the first cargo of the new grade were sold to France and Netherlands. Nimba is similar to other distill-rich grades such as Focados, Bunga, and Egina. The low-sulfur grade command a premium to the global Brent benchmark and is a good grade to compete with Brazilian and Azeri crude grade for European refiner, she added. So we can refine it, we have it, and we sell it off. So 950,000 barrels were sold to France and Netherlands. Production of Nimba is currently around 50,000 barrels per day, but this NNPCL said it is aimed to rise to 80,000 barrels per day. We don't have any problem with the barrels, with the money. The question is, what is the money being used to do when it comes to the payment? We sell crude oil, but are we able to develop our community? 774 local government, and as we speak today, Nigeria is still not working. The development comes on the heels of recovering the crude oil production, which went from a low of 900,000 barrels. We're running out of time, so I'm going to move swiftly as I'm going to take one more from the business and then go straight to what is going on as well in the social media. NEPE Gizi promote agri sector productivity. According to the Nigerian Export Promotion Council and GIZ moved have collaborated to promote productivity in cashew and rice value chain. It is a release. NIPEC noted that the partnership was geared towards engaging critical stakeholders in the cashew and the rice value chain. This is coming from the chief executive of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Mrs. Noye Ayeni, who was represented by Lawal Daat, the Director of Policy and Strategy, during a one-day program on intervention in cashew and rice value chain. So that is about that on what is happening on the news network this morning, and I'm going to go straight to what is happening on the X this morning as well. Once again, this is still the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. My name is Olami Koike. I'm also sitting in for Archie, that is working behind the scene. Archie will be on with us again tomorrow. I'll be coming back tonight at exactly 6 p.m. That will be 7 p.m. local time in Nigeria. Dollar to Naira seems to be trending this morning. Mazinam Dekano is trending. Bright Chimeze is trending. And likewise, Oshodi is trending. Maybe we should start with Oshodi. Not too sure why Oshodi is trending this morning. But as many of you know, that Oshodi is very unique in Lagos State. I'm just trying to say why it's trending. Okay. I can't find anything. Okay. Flood takes over Lagos Road. It seems that Lagos is going under the ocean. Flood has taken over Apapa Oshodi Road in Lagos State due to the heavy downpour. Let's hope that the government, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, will do whatever it takes to minimize flood in Lagos State. And I think that is how far I can get from Oshodi. So let's go back again to see what is more trending this morning. Let's go straight to Benin. Benin seems to be trending again this morning. I'm not sure why, but all I can tell you is that Yoruba people from Benin Republic on this one, I can't play the audio out. When my mom asked me to, I'm not too sure what that is all about. The story of the giant Benin prince, Araruna, who could uproot trees with bare hands. Wow. I've never seen this before. Have you? According to what we have here, Prince Idubo, also known as Aharuna, would have been the Oba or the king of Benin, as at the time the great kingdom was flourishing, but was cheated of his birthright, which legend says was given to his younger brother, a Sige who was born on the same day he was. Oba Ozulu, also called Ozulu Ibaromi, Ozulu in Konka, was an important Oba king in the history of Benin Kingdom. He reigned between 1483 and 1514, as at the time there was nothing called Nigeria until the British amalgamated Nigeria in 1914 and led to the independence in 1960. One of the Oba Ozulu's wife, Queen Ohama, gave birth to a baby boy named Udubo, who was fondly called Aruna. Aruna did not cry immediately after his birth. During that era, it was considered a taboo to announce the birth of a mute baby to the king. However, another wife of the Oba Ozulu, Queen Idia, the subject of the famous Festac 77 mask, put to bed later in the same day, but unlike Queen Ohame, a baby named Osawa cried as soon as it was born. Osawa's birth was reported to Oba Ozulu, who instantly performed necessary rites and declared him his first son and crown prince, automatically making Aruna the second son. Growing up, Aruna constantly felt sad about being cheated of his birthright. He often asked his mother, Queen Ohime, if the king was truly his father, because he felt a father would not deny his son what he truly owns. Actually, Oba Zulu had two sons before Aruna, Udobo and Osawe, but both were kidnapped by Odomomu thieves of children during the period of the slave trade. As at the time went on, Udobo grew up to become a great warrior with imposing size and strength. He was a giant who could uproot palm tree with his bare hand. Osawa, on the other hand, quite lacked combat experience as a result of having to attend the school of Portuguese missionaries rather than joining his father on the battlefield. So you can see the history of the Benin Kingdom that has now been removed because of the amalgamation of what is called Nigeria today. If only we understand the history, we would all want to return back to where we are and who we were as indigenous people. 4 minutes before the end of the program this morning, it seems that the dollar and the naira are still dancing yo-yo. And as we say all the time, the dollar to the naira is still fluctuating. It's about 1,245 naira to the dollar, 1,234 naira to the pound, and almost 1,054 naira to the euro. Why is that so? It's because Nigeria has not been producing so much, and we have not utilized the many 60% of our youth into the production. Rather, we've been sending them to Islamic schools, and we've been sending them to Christian schools, rather than working very hard so that we can have a better future. Let's now look at what is trending. Nigeria ranked among the worst perpetrator of Christians in 2023 is coming on the X as well. And it seems that, I have another video here says, meet Efe Ajagba, a Nigerian boxer. He knocks out opponent in 23 seconds at the Rio Olympic. When asked his secret, he says, I just focus on all the anger I had for the Nigerian government in one blow. In this fight, his opponent actually ran away. Wow. Do you do the same thing? Do you put all your anger and then you use that anger to flourish as a Nigerian wherever you are? It seems that Efe Ajagbe, a Nigerian boxer, would normally knock out his opponent in 23 seconds at the Rio Olympic. And he actually said, my secret be say, when I focus on the anger of the Nigerian government, I just put everything in one blow. That is how far I can go this morning. I'll be back later on, for more program on the Naija Voices at exactly 1800 hours. My name is Olami Koike. I would like to say good morning, good afternoon for those of you that have joined us, and our producer, Mr. Francis. Thank you so much for taking, the battle while Archie continue, to do some other work behind the scene. As I leave you, I ask you again, follow us on all the social media handle this morning. My name is Olayomi Koike, and I've been sitting here as well for Archie. This is Star Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. I'll be back later on at 1800 hours for the rest of the Naija Voices, where we would have our 2 hours to discuss issues and other areas needs to be discussed on what is going on with the self-determination and likewise with the present administration, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And I say a very good morning. And I'll give it back now to our producer to take back from me in the North London studio. Thank you so much to every one of you. Bye for now. I gotta go now. I have so much to do. I gotta go now. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye for now. I have so much. I'll back by the later. Bye for now. Moki our boss said, shall I feel our mommy? Moki will go into our Palua. I want your Darap Mamalori backup channel. So that's why we have 42,000. I keep saying every now we go live on the backup, but nobody's joining. I'm not too sure why. Anyway, I gotta go now. Ajani Ajala Moke, Banki Wanti Libya, Moki Bubalen Conceal, Odabo. Egbomi Tony Ages, Mourinho, Mace Gold. So Odiroli Lagbaro Long, Easy Dollar Morie, Mr. Timothy, Mr. Kende, Yawa Esther, gbogbo àwọn tí mo rí lórí backup nìyẹn. Gbogbo ẹni tó kù tẹ́ ẹ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa kò dáhùn. Kí ló dé? Ẹ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa lórí backup channel wa. No problem. Bye for now. I started late, so this one never started.